I think we're on live. I think so. All right. What's going on, guys? How you guys doing today? Today we have three special instructors from Cafe Talk. We got Marina from Maryland. Marina, how you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
We got Nathan from my hometown, SoCal. He's from Chino Hills. Nathan, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
And joining us here again for round two is Chris from Minnesota. What's going on, Chris? How you doing?
Good, thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good today. So today we're going to continue from our last live session that we did. This is the words that are pretty difficult, almost impossible to directly translate from Japanese to English. Last time we covered itadakimasu, itterashai, some of those words. Today, we're going to cover two very magical words that you hear all the time in Japan. I think if you are somebody visiting Japan, these are two of the words or phrases you should definitely know, but they're so versatile that you have to live there long enough to really understand what it means. So today I'm going to have three of you discuss how you guys would translate these phrases. よろしくお願いします and お疲れ様です or お疲れ様でした. Again, these words are very situational. It's not something that can be directly translated. So today I have a bunch of situations ready for you guys. I want you to put yourself in the situation and write it down on the whiteboard what you would say in these situations. All right. 今日はですね、日本語から英語に直訳できない表現パート2。前回はね、いただきます、ごちそうさま、いってらっしゃいなどのね、フレーズをしましたが、今日はその中でも代表的なよろしくお願いします。そしてお疲れ様です、お疲れ様でしたの表現の仕方を、マリナ先生、ネイセン先生とクリス先生に聞いてみたいと思います。こちらすべてね、状況次第で英語の表現の仕方が異なってきますので、今日はシチュエーションをたくさん、皆さんにね、考えてもらって、その英語のセンテンスを書いていってもらいます。皆さんね、見ている方も、皆さんだったら、この状況でどういう英語で表現をするのかっていうのを一緒に考えていければと思います。Alright, are you guys ready to do this? Okay, here we go. So we're going to start with よろしくお願いします. I did my homework. There's so many situations for よろしくお願いします. Just, with the short list that I have, I got 5 situations that I want to cover. So let's try to get through this as quickly as we possibly can. So situation number 1, guys, is meeting someone for the first time. Okay. Now, I want you to think about this in terms of 2 situations. Meeting somebody for the first time, like friends. So like a friend introducing you to another friend. And also a situation that's a little bit more professional. So let's say, for example, you meet somebody in a professional setting. When you meet somebody for the first time, you say your name. And in Japanese, you'll usually say, よろしくお願いします. What would you guys say when you meet somebody for the first time? Go ahead and write that down on your whiteboard. で、まずシチュエーション1ですね。これは初対面に会った人で挨拶をするときですね。日本語の場合は例えば、順です。よろしくお願いしますと言うと思うのですが、じゃあ英語の場合は何て言うのか。で、これまた友達との自己紹介、そして仕事場ですよね。もうちょっとプロフェッショナルな場面での自己紹介の仕方がちょっと違うと思いますので、今日はこの3人の先生に考えてもらいたいと思います。All right, so whenever you guys are ready, you guys can look up and, all right, well, I think I saw Marina. Are you ready to do this?
Yes, I guess I am.
Okay, so let's start off with Marina today. What do you got?
So it's actually on a blue board. But anyways, So for the first more casual, I think I would say it's, but maybe with more casual, I would just say nice to meet you. So it's nice to meet you or just nice to meet you.
Okay.
So that's for more casual times. And then I think if it were more professional, like especially if I'm meeting someone I'm working with or my boss or someone like that, I would say I look forward to working with you or something more along those lines.
Okay, perfect. So nice to meet you, and I look forward to working with you. So obviously you would say like, hi, my name is Marina. Nice to meet you. And if it's in a work environment, I look forward to working with you. All right, perfect. Nathan, what do you got?
See this? Ooh, it's kind of big. So the first one with a friend, I would say, hey, I'm Nate. Nice to meet you. And just kind of keep it casual. For the second one, if it was like a work environment, I would use my full name. I would say, hello, I'm Nathan. I look forward to working with you. Same as Marina.
Okay, yeah, it seems like you guys basically have the identical answer right there. The one thing I do want to point out that I thought was kind of interesting with your two responses is with your friends, you're Nate, but at work, I guess you go by Nathan?
Yeah, I use my full name, usually with work.
Is there a reason behind that? Do you prefer to be called Nathan at work and Nate with your friends?
I don't know. Yeah, I just kind of caught on like that. It's kind of my nickname, so just a little bit more friendly. Yeah.
All right.
I guess I don't really mind either way, but I stick with my full name for professional.
Got you. Is this Zoom environment, are we in a professional environment today? Should I refer to you as Nathan or Nate today?
That's your choice. I guess I'm both. I'm your friend and I'm your professional colleague. So your choice.
Gotcha. Well, I think Nate is easier for me to call. So
sure thing.
Nate it is. Okay. Chris, what do you got?
So it's kind of the same thing, but for just two different situations. I'd normally say nice to meet you. To be honest, I'd probably say that in a casual and professional setting. And then perhaps my other sentences would sound more business-like or professional. And then maybe I would say it's a pleasure to meet you. To me, it's a pleasure sounds a little bit more formalized than it's nice to meet you, but I could definitely see myself using nice to meet you in a business setting as well.
Right.
And then I think perhaps I might say something like, I look forward to working with you, or I can't wait to get started if it's a job, perhaps. But in terms of the nice to meet you portion, like the introduction, I would probably just say one of these two.
Yeah. And I think I can't wait to get started. I think that's another good one right there, especially if you are a new member to the team or you're new to the company. I can't wait to get started. It's an excellent way to address somebody. Quick question. It's a pleasure to meet you. So I think it does sound pretty formal. You said that it's nice to meet you is something that you would use in a professional setting too. What kind of situation would you choose to use pleasure instead of nice to meet you? Is it talking to somebody with, I don't know, like a CEO of a company, or how would you differentiate that?
That's a tough question. I'm not sure, to be quite honest with you, because I could see myself viewing it's nice to meet you and speaking to someone. I feel like I can still be professional and respectful and use nice to meet you and maintain a certain level of friendliness within that professional like speaking style. But that could just be my personal style as well. So maybe, I guess, if the gap in the conversation doesn't feel like there is that friendly connection, which there tends to be in American business, maybe more than Japanese business. If that connection isn't there and it feels a little bit more of like a formal atmosphere and there's no like back and forth about sports or weather or something like that, or families, then perhaps I'd say something like, it's a pleasure to meet you. But it's probably a decision I would make subconsciously more so than like, I need to say it this way.
Yeah. And that's the hard part about these types of questions, right? Is that you don't really think about it. It's just something that comes out naturally. So when you kind of get put on the spot and asked like, what would you say in these kind of situations? Really tough. Nate, did you have something to say there?
Yeah, sorry. For pleasure to meet you, I've used it like if I talked with the person online, like email first, or if maybe I talked to them on the phone first. So it's kind of like actually meeting you for the first time, then I'll say it's a pleasure to meet you. Like I had some kind of, yeah. Excellent.
All right. Well, let's keep it moving. We have many more situations to cover. All right. So you met somebody for the first time. You shoot the breeze a little bit. You get to know each other. And then obviously the conversation has to come to an end. So in Japanese, when you do end the conversation, there's times where you say, これからもよろしくお願いします, or you would say like, 今後もよろしくお願いいたします. Usually this kind of happens more in business situations. So we're going the opposite now. After you finish talking to somebody, how would you end the conversation with somebody you met for the first time? It could be with friends, and it could be with a working partner. All right. OK。じゃあ次はね、会話を終わらせるときですね。先ほどはね、初対面と会った人に、はじめまして、ジュンと申します。よろしくお願いします。じゃあ次、会話が終わった後に、特に仕事の場では、今後もよろしくお願いしますというふうにね、会話を切り上げることが多いと思うのですが、じゃあ英語の場合はどういうふうに会話を締めくくるのか、今回も友達とあとは会社のレベルで皆さんに考えてもらいたいと思います。Okay, so whenever you guys are ready, let me know and we'll see everyone's answers here. Okay, Chris, looks like you're ready. Go for it.
Yeah, so if it's like a friendly situation, like if you meet someone on a college campus, or if you meet someone that like your friend introduced them and you probably will see them again sometime soon, or maybe you might come across each other in town, but before you didn't know each other, I might say something like, see you around. Mm-hmm. And then the second one, I guess I could say in a professional or casual situation, and this is assuming that there's sort of been at least a minute or so between like, nice to meet you and this sentence. It's not like I would say nice to meet you and then it was nice meeting you back to back or something, but towards the end, I might say it was nice meeting you, which sort of, holds the same meaning as nice to meet you, but it has like a bye, like it has like a goodbye, ending the conversation tone to it. So it comes across a little bit, if someone hears this, they know, especially because it's in past tense, that, oh, okay, this person's about to leave or they want to leave. It was nice meeting you. If you say that at the beginning of a conversation or like in the middle, then they're like, oh, okay, I guess he's leaving, or something like that. So yeah, I think these two are probably what I would go with.
Yeah, and I think the key point right there too is the tenses, right? It was nice meeting you implies that this conversation is coming to an end, versus it is nice to meet you is implying that we're just meeting right now. So maybe the tenses right there could signify if you're just meeting somebody for the first time or you're ending the conversation. All right, Marina, how about you?
Okay, so I actually had to go into 2 words because I think I tend to use like 5 words when like 1 or 2 will do. So I usually go like, well, it was great talking to you, but I've got to go. Or it was great getting to know you, but ... So those are for more casual. I tend to speak a little bit too much, as I'm doing now, when I feel pressure.
Yeah, no, but I know I'm the same way too, though, right? You're trying to end the conversation without being too rude, you know, and just like, I really want to talk to you a little bit more, but, and then you're hoping that they get the hint, right? That you want to end the conversation.
And well, you know, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I think for slightly more formal situations, I'm using great. It was great, which I think is not so formal. So I try to, I think it's similar to what Chris was saying. Well, I go like, I enjoyed speaking with you. It was nice meeting you.
Okay, perfect.
A little bit more formal adjectives.
Right. All right. Thank you very much. Nate, what about you?
I don't know, maybe it's a California thing, but I'm super casual. So the first one, I said, catch you later. And for the second one, a little bit more formal, I would just say, see you again.
There you go. Yeah, and see, that's kind of the interesting thing is that there really is no right or wrong way. I don't think it really depends on the person. It depends on the situation. So here we have it, a lot of different ways to meet and greet and also say goodbye to someone. All right, let's keep it moving, guys. Let's go to the next one. So this situation is when you ask somebody for a favor. So let's say, for example, you need a document translated and you ask your coworker, hey, Hiro-san, can you translate this document by tomorrow? And Hiro-san says, sure. What would your next response be after he says, sure? So in Japanese, you guys could write it down as I'm explaining this. When you ask somebody for a favor, 明日までにこれを翻訳していただけますか? And then Hiro-san says, もちろんです. And then in Japanese, it's pretty common to say よろしくね or よろしくお願いします in those kind of situations. So how about in English? You ask somebody to do something, they accept it. How would you follow up with their yes, of course, sure? Nate, are you good to go?
I think I'm ready.
All right.
I would say sorry for the trouble, and then thanks.
Okay. Sorry for the trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think you would say that?
I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of just burdening them in some way or form if I'm asking them for a favor. But yeah, I want to say thank you as well. So just kind of show them both sides of that idea.
All right. Quick question. What if it was your friend? Let's say it's not a translation. Let's say you want your friend to book a restaurant or something like that. And they say, hey, can you book a time for 7 o'clock tonight? And he's like, sure. How would you respond to that? Would you say sorry to trouble you in that situation?
Probably not. I would probably
Okay.
just say thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you so much. Gotcha. All right. Chris, how about you?
So I added an extra one. I have a whole bunch on this.
Okay.
Your question to Nate. So if it's a friend, I might say I owe you one. So it's kind of like showing that if they do me a favor, I'm going to pay them back for that favor. And it comes across kind of casual, in my opinion, but I guess you could say it in a slightly more formal setting, but like to a friend, I would definitely say this. If, you know, they help me move and then I owe them one, maybe I pay for their dinner or help them move. I don't know, something in return. And then in a variety of settings, there might be some kind of compliment. Like my initial reaction will be like, oh, you're the best. Because they're helping me. Maybe I'm in a pinch. I need something. Oh, no, I need help by tomorrow. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So they're relieving me of this burden, of this stress, this pressure. And so I'm giving them a compliment. And it's kind of genuine feelings like, oh, you've saved me. And so I might say you're the best. Or a common one I think is you're a lifesaver, which sounds a little bit exaggerated, but I think it is often quite used or used quite often. And then I think along with what Nate said too, like some form of thank you, some form of sorry, like sorry for bothering you. I know this was very sudden. And then thank you, of course.
Right. Yeah, you're a lifesaver, I think, is something you might say for like a really big favor, right? Maybe it's a last minute favor and you really need them to come through for you. Yeah.
I think so. I've also heard people say it to me and I'm like, okay, like they need something small and they're like, oh, you're a lifesaver. And so I've definitely heard it used in other ways, but I think you're right. That would be the more appropriate time to use it is when it's a big deal.
All right, Marina, how about you?
I actually use you're a lifesaver quite a bit. I might be slightly dramatic as
there
well.
We go.
Just when I have all the emotions and I need to let them out, you're a lifesaver just I feel like conveys that very well. So I guess like to start with, this is what I use a lot with friends, just please and thank you, just like please help me out and thank you. But I only with friends, it's more casual because the please kind of makes it informal. So I do please and thank you.
Right.
And then also just thank you so much. And I am so grateful, or I am eternally grateful when I wanted to be a little more dramatic and really convey. Yes, eternally grateful.
That's excellent right there. All right. So it seems like showing appreciation is something that is pretty common here after you ask a favor. And also you guys provided with a variety of phrases. All right. ということで、感謝の気持ちを示すっていうのが大きなポイントだと思います。All right, guys. I have at least 2 or 3 more situations, but we're going to have to move on to お疲れ様. So I'm going to go one more because this is a seasonal よろしくお願いします. And I'm assuming you guys might have heard this, but on New Year's Day in Japan, you would say, 明けましておめでとうございます。今年もよろしくお願いします. So what do you say to your friends and your coworkers at the beginning of the year? How would you translate or how would you say 今年もよろしくお願いします? Or do you even say something like that? So I'm going to leave that totally up to you guys. 次はですね、もうすぐお正月ということで、今年もよろしくお願いします。こちらをどういうふうに英語で言うのか、結構セットですよね。 明けましておめでとうございます。今年もよろしくお願いします。じゃあこちらの方ね、先生たちの方に聞いていきたいと思います。Okay, Chris, what do you got?
So, in terms of like the phrase itself, I would just say Happy New Year. I don't really have any sort of other thing that I would say to them in terms of a set phrase. However, something that would come up probably in the conversation, if it's the first time I've seen them in the year, it would be like maybe ask about, do you have a resolution? And then ask about how their previous year went, which for most people next year is going to be an interesting conversation. But yeah, I don't think I would, there isn't any like set phrase that I would use. I'd probably just, it would be a conversation to see what their plans are for this year and how their previous year went.
So just more kind of like small talk for during New Year's kind of thing.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And Marina, how about you?
I agree. There's not really a set phrase I use. I mean, just say Happy New Year. But maybe if I were working somewhere and I was talking to like colleagues or my boss or something, it's like, I hope we have maybe another or have a great year. But just kind of hope things turn out well. And I think especially this year, just like, I hope things turn out a little bit better. I hope some good things happen for you and for me, but just general like good feelings.
Exactly, right? Yeah, I think for the beginning of next year, I hope we have another great year. Is probably not going to be not during these COVID times. It probably can't get any worse than this year. But yes, thank you very much for that. And Nate, last but not least, what do you got?
Kind of the same as everyone. Happy New Year to start with. And then if it was like a business relationship or something, I say, let's have a good one. So this coming year, let's have a good one.
All right. Very good. Okay. Oh, man. See, the time goes by so fast. Okay. So I do have a lot of different situations for otsukare-sama desu, but due to the time, I'm going to just condense this into just one question. I want you to write one phrase each per situation on your whiteboard here. Okay. So otsukare-sama desu. I'm sure you guys heard this everywhere in Japan. So this is again situation one, greeting a friend or a coworker. So not somebody that you meet for the first time, but in Japan, typically when you meet somebody, you say konnichiwa, but a lot of the times you say otsukare-sama desu. So when you greet a friend or a coworker, what would you say? At the end of the day, when you leave your office, it's pretty common for workers to say otsukare-sama deshita and leave the office. So what would you say when you leave the office? And the last one is after somebody finishes a project or a presentation. So let's say your coworker just finished a presentation. In Japan, it's common to say otsukare-sama deshita. What would you say in those three situations? Okay, so go ahead and write that down. I'll recap the three situations. First one is greeting a friend or a coworker. Situation two, what would you say when you leave the office? And situation number three, asking someone to after somebody completes a task or finishes something like a presentation. All right. すいません。次、お疲れ様ですの3つのシチュエーションをギュッとまとめたいと思います。この3つのシチュエーションは、お友達や同僚と挨拶をするときのお疲れ様です。会社ね、仕事が終わって家にね、帰る時のお疲れ様でした。そして最後はね、誰かがね、プレゼントかスピーチが終わった後に、お疲れ様でしたという表現の仕方です。これ3つのシチュエーションなので、ここ一気にお疲れ様ですのフレーズをカバーしたいと思います。Okay, so whenever you guys are ready, I will go ahead and discuss these ones here. I know I asked a lot from you guys, so no rush, take your time. But Nate, are you ready? Or
I think I'm ready.
Okay, let's just go for it.
This one was a little harder for me.
Okay.
So the first situation, if I was just coming into work and I saw my friend, or if I'm just seeing my friend after a while and we're gonna have some plans today, I'll just say, "Good to see you," something like that.
Good to see you.
If we're finishing up work or we're saying our goodbyes, I would say something like, "Great work, see you later," or "See you tomorrow." And then the last one, if they did a really good job on something or they just finished a project, I would just say, "Nice work." Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Chris, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. This is a tough one, especially the third situation for me. But the first one, it would just be kind of a standard greeting if it's at the office or wherever. I might say good morning or how's it going? Just a typical greeting. And then if I'm leaving the office and I'm talking to coworkers or leaving people that I've worked on a project with, whether it's at a university or elsewhere, I might say, have a nice night. And if it was something that I'm like managing or I had asked for help or something, or if I'm part of a team, I might say awesome work today or great work today, or, thanks again for your help or something like that. And then in terms of if they like finished a project, that's the one I struggled with because I couldn't think of any set phrase that I might say, but maybe I'd say, how'd it go? Like, and then that'll give them a chance to say whether it was tough, whether it felt easy. And so it's kind of, I feel like there isn't as good of a phrase in English to recognize someone's hard work and tell them good job just for finishing, or, you must be so tired, the typical like really stiff translation people say, but it just doesn't feel natural for me to say something like you must be so tired. Although I have heard people say that, it's just I don't know, it doesn't fit necessarily my particular speaking style, but I might ask like, how'd it go or something like that. And or like great work, I guess, if I know that it was great work, but if I just know they finished something, I'd probably just ask about it and it'd be more open-ended.
Got it. Yeah. The last one's a tough one, right? After somebody completes something, whether it's a presentation or whatever it is, there's really no set phrase in English. So I think asking about how everything went is a good way to follow up on that. And Marina, how about you?
Okay, yes, this was very difficult for me.
Okay.
Mainly, I think for the first one, I just kind of go like, hey, that's about it. But like maybe it's like great to see you, but I think I just go, hey, what's up? And then we keep on talking. But for the second one too, I'm not really happy with this because I think I would only say this if I were the boss and I am not the boss. So, but like, thank you for your hard work, or, but I think also just kind of like, good job today, everyone. Right. Just like saying like, everyone, you worked well, and acknowledging that everyone worked hard. And also, I think if someone, like with my friends, I just automatically say, good job, you did great, you worked, you did it. Like that's, you did it. And they just acknowledging that they finished something. But
it's like a compliment, right? Giving them a compliment, for finishing what they did. Yeah. So that's a very situational kind of thing. I wanted to dig a little bit deeper into situation 3, actually, because there's so many different types of situations where you would say good job, you would say great work, you might ask them how everything went. It really kind of depends on the relationship you have with the person. Unfortunately, we're just tight on time today, so I have to just wrap everything up into one question. But thank you guys very much for answering those questions. But I think from today's live lesson, and this was the same from last time, I think the real lesson here is that direct translations sometimes just does not work, right? And especially if you know 2 languages, sometimes your mind starts thinking of like, what is the right word in this that's kind of similar? Because sometimes in English, there's just certain things you say without thinking. So I think, my personal experience living in Japan was just to observe what other people are doing in situations and just imitate them in those kind of situations. That's where I picked up my お疲れ様 or よろしくお願いします。I was like, oh, this is how you use it. One quick thing I do remember is, I don't know if you guys know this, but the use of おはようございます. For me, おはようございます is always a good morning. But sometimes I would meet people that would come into the office in the afternoon, and that's their first time coming in, and they would say, おはようございます. And that used to really, really confuse me because I would look at the clock and I'm like, well, did you just wake up right now? But it's also used in a sense of, I'm just starting my day right now and kind of let's get the day started kind of thing. Alright, ということでですね、今日はね、英語で直訳できない表現、すいません、今日もね、ちょっとタイムオーバーをかなりしましたが、よろしくお願いしますと、お疲れ様でしたの表現を先生たちに考えてもらいました。 ちなみに今日の先生は、みんなカフェトークの講師です。マリナ先生、ネイト先生、そしてクリス先生はみんなカフェトークで、素晴らしい英会話レッスンを教えていますので、興味のある方は今日、こちらの YouTube の動画の下に、彼らのね、リンクを貼っていますので、Please check their classes out. They offer awesome classes. All right, Marina, Nathan, and Chris, thank you guys very much. Hope to see you guys. Hope to have you guys back on again.
Thank you.